Hey there guys, it's me Rowie here and this is Rowwie's Dream Team Show. Hey there guys, this is the time where I tell you who the best chance for your captain this week will be. So the segment's called Rowwie's Captains. At number 5 I'm going to start with a bit of a dark horse captain. Not many people are probably going to pick him. Adelaide midfielder Scott Thompson. He is going up against Gold Coast this week. He should average, I don't know, really, he should average around 110 to 120 for you at least against the Gold Coast. Number 3, I'm going with the Western Bulldogs ball magnet midfielder Matthew Boyd. He should be able to get you a good solid 110 to 120 points again, like Scott Thompson. The Bulldogs are playing West Coast this week, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they do. They play West Coast this week. So he should be able to rack up the possessions in that game. So number 3 on my top 5 is going to be G. Ablett. A lot of people might have him as captain choice number 1. I've got him as my captain this week, and he will be captain most of the time during the year, but I'm just putting him on number 3 in the countdown to Rowwie's captains. He's playing Adelaide Crows, so he might be able to get a bit of the ball and kick a couple of goals to get them extra points on the board, and he should be able to get you at least, you're expecting at least 120 to 130, maybe 140 if he gets on the board pretty early. Now, my top 2 are going to be the Collingwood duo. Number two is going to be Scott Pendlebury. I don't think he is number 1 quality just yet, with Dane Swan number 1, but that could be reversed if you wanted to, because Swan hasn't really had a damaging pre-season. Yeah, you just can't really go on the numbers in the pre-season for Swan and Pendlebury because they really haven't played much game time, and that could really affect his score maybe in the first couple of rounds. So that's Rowwie's captains for this week, and I hope you can tune in next week. Catch ya. Now we're getting on to the rest of the round, and it is going to be on the Thursday night. Tonight, I'm doing this video on a Thursday, so tonight there's Richmond Carlton. Mostly your dream team players in this game will be Brett Deledio, Chris Newman if you want to go for the captain of Richmond. Robin Nahas is a dual position player. You might have him in your forward line or your midfield, probably your forward line more than your midfield, but other Carlton players, you might have Bryce Gibbs, a unique this year in your midfield because he's lost his dual eligibility this year from being a defender midfielder, but he's still a good pick and he still should average at least 100. Talking about that dual position player, Heath Scotland will be one to look out for. He is, during the pre-season, has been racking up the numbers and showing dream teamers that he still can play, and at his age of, I think he's just about to turn 31 I think, and he still can average over 100 maybe this year for you dream teamers. Going into the midfield, Chris Judd, always a great pick. There might be other players around though, because he might get a hard tag each week being the best player in the Carlton midfield. But other Carlton players that might not get much of a tag are Mark Murphy. He is another one to pick maybe this week. He's going to be a great player in years to come, but his dream team scores are going to just keep going up and up and up. So now getting on to on Friday night, the big blockbuster. It's going to be Hawthorn versus Collingwood. Last year's premiers. This is a rematch from the semi-final from last year. Hawthorn just lost it last year, fell away in the last half of last year's semi-final, so it'll be great to see if Collingwood's injury worries during the pre-season is going to affect them in the round one proper round. So Hawthorn, just your normal premium players. You got Mitchell, Hodge in the midfield. You could add Shields to that. He's probably he's probably a unique player for most people. Buddy Franklin, he's one to pick up in the forward line. He's always going to kick a bag. In the back line, you've got your two huge priced players in Birchall and Suckling to look out for. And then on the other side of the pitch, there is Collingwood with Swan, Pendlebury, Beams. I think is playing this week. He should be. Beams side bottom. Them two are dual position players, so they could be in lots of teams this year. Just having that dual position eligibility. Another forward, you could have Travis Cloak. Chris Dawes might be a unique pick for some people. We are going to your back line and your rucks. You've got Heath Shaw, Marty Clark. Some people might have him as a rookie price player. And a ruck for Collingwood, maybe Darren Jolly, but he might be past his scoring days in Dream Team. So, yeah, that's going to be a great game to watch, and hopefully it's a good game in Dream Team and the ball just all the midfielders and everyone just keeps going back and forward from on the Saturday. The first game on Saturday is Melbourne versus Brisbane. I'm pretty sure that's at the MCG, so they're going to want to go from Jim Steins' tragic death, and that'll probably give them some inspiration. So there's not many Melbourne players that you have in your dream team so far. Just there might be a forward, Mitch Clark coming from Brisbane, so first round and first chance to face his old club in Brisbane that he got traded from last year. In Brisbane, there's probably your midfielders Rockcliffe, Redden, and probably there's Adcock in the back line and Leuenberger, who is a premium ruck in the ruck division. So he'd probably get a good game and get a good score for everyone who's got Leuenberger. Now, that's it for that game. At the same time, I think, or just after that game, there's Gold Coast Adelaide. It's up at Metricon Stadium. Gary Ablett should have a feast on this game, and so should Scott Thompson from Adelaide. They're both powerhouses in the midfield and should be able to get you 120 plus scores this week. And hopefully, if you've got captain on them two, one of them two, you should be able to get the rewards of having them two in your side. The next game after that, I'm pretty sure that it's on at night time. It's Fremantle versus Geelong on a Saturday night. Fremantle versus Geelong Saturday night. The premiers from last year, Geelong, their first match against Fremantle, they've probably got a good side in this week, Geelong, and so it's Fremantle. They've got very strong teams. The question marks will be over if Michael Barlow's going to get up and play. He might not. I'm not sure if anyone's going to take a punt on taking Michael Barlow into the round one and onwards. So the Geelong premiums you'd probably have in your back line starting there, Enright. Keep on going down the field. Midfielders, you got Joel Selwood, you got Chapman, dual position player down in the forward line. Also on the forward line, you've got Steve Johnson. He's the highest priced forward. I'm sure of that. He's the highest priced forward this year. He should be able to get you some value there, and hopefully get 120 for you. Now, on to Sunday, we've got the Western Bulldogs versus Essendon. There's many questions over the Western Bulldogs this year. Will they drop off a lot, or will they just drop off a slightly amount, or what? Will they stay around the same as they did last year with the absence of Barry Hall? There's going to be a lot of different forward setup there this year, new coach and everything to deal with that kind of. Essendon, on the other hand, they have got dual position players like David Zaharakis, Mark McVeigh, they're both dual position players. McVeigh's a bit underpriced, about 200,000 less than Zaharakis, but Zaharakis should be a good pick. I think that's about it in Essendon's midfield, but their only other player that's fantasy relevant at this stage of the competition is probably going to be Dyson Heppel. If you think that he's going to get the same numbers as he did last year, or keep on going up and up and up, he's around a 410 to 420 price range. That's pretty high for a backman this year, but if you pick him this year, he should be a good player, and you should get rewards with his points. Okay, and now getting on to the next game, Western Bulldogs. North Melbourne versus Essendon's our next game, and with North Melbourne coming up against Essendon this year, they normally don't start off very well at the start of the year, so their coach Brad Scott has been trying to get out of this bad start to the year. Last year they started 4 losses in the first 4 matches, so they probably want to get better than that start this year to help their chances of getting into the finals and not finishing 9th again. Now, getting on to the next match, it is the Western Bulldogs versus West Coast, and the heavy favourites here, probably West Coast on a tipping perspective, but with the players that West Coast have got at the moment, they've got Pritters in the midfield, Selwood and Pritters, Daniel Kerr, maybe he might be a good pick. There's not really any more in your rucks division. You could have Dean Cox if you're going with that premium and 3 rookie strategy. You could have Dean Cox there with the 3 rookie ruckman. There's not our forwards in the West Coast really are only Jack Darling, maybe if you would like a mid-price forward, but he's probably not going to score you enough points at his price, so yeah, he's probably not one good to pick at the start of the season. Maybe you should wait for his price to come down and maybe think about him around the buy time, around the time of the buy. Now, getting on to the last match of the round, Port Adelaide versus St Kilda. This is going to be probably not as much one-sided as you probably thought a month ago or a couple of months ago, with Port Adelaide showing a bit of form in the NAB Cup, beating Carlton and putting up some pretty good performances in the NAB Cup. So everyone will probably have the ruckman Jared Redden maybe on your 4th ruck or something like. If you're going with that strategy, you might have to pick in Port Adelaide. You could pick up a John Butcher. He's in the forward line. In the back line, they normally don't have any backline players unless you want Troy Chaplin. He's been gunning it in the pre-season, getting some pretty high scores, but I don't know if you'd want to trust them kind of numbers. Okay, and this is the round review finished here. I'd just like to say, if you've watched this video, subscribe to my channel, comment on it, like this video, go onto my Facebook page, Rowwiees Dream Team Show, and I'll be on there daily updating everything, and hopefully I can get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, this is Rowie out.